It was purely the fact that she was a sycophantic supporter of the ex-Prime Minister that she thought she might get a peerage and didn't actually deserve one. When people heard that she's not getting one and she's wanting to fight and cause all this nonsense, throwing a strop because she didn't get it, I think it just adds to the fact that she's there for her own reasons and not for the constituency and the people that she's there to represent.
So can I just talk to you a little bit then about the months that have followed Nadine Dorries' resignation? I mean, what's the mood like there?
I think people are pretty angry at the moment. They have suffered for quite a long time with an MP who seemed to be very much more interested in her own career and progression through government, media and book selling than perhaps being our representative in Westminster. So when she said she was going, I think people sort of thought there's a fresh dawn coming and perhaps we can get someone who's really interested in us. So having reneged on that at this stage for her own reasons, people are pretty annoyed.
And so yesterday we had the news that Flitwick Town Council had written to Nadine Dorries and they'd asked her to step aside because obviously she hasn't formally stepped aside and triggered a by-election. I mean, what's the mood like there? Is there a sense of frustration among constituents?
Very much so. I think we're at the stage now where people want their representatives to do what they say they're going to do. And Nadine has not been popular in this area for some time. And I think previously people confused electing the Conservative Party, which they've done for as long as any of us can remember, with electing Nadine Dorries. And I think it's been more about the party than the person over here. So she's not been popular for a long time, and this has certainly not added to it. They want someone very different, and for her not to go, as you say, is incredibly frustrating and quite frankly, angering to a lot of people.
I mean, the last couple of months, do you feel, I mean, she's been there, do you feel like there's been any kind of representation for the constituency in Westminster?
Certainly the people don't think so. They've always had trouble getting any joy out of her office in the past. And I think whether it's true or not, they certainly think that even more so now, she's not interested. She's there for one reason and one reason only, and that's for her own benefit, and that's the perception. So the fact that she hasn't spoken in Parliament properly for as long as she has, Politics Town Council are saying she hasn't held a surgery in our area for a considerable length of time. I think that feeling is backed up by some facts, and people really are sick and tired of not having someone to fight their corner.
So for quite a long time as well, so Nadine Dorries had held off from properly resigning, properly stepping down, because she was waiting to receive her peerage, which obviously never came. I mean, how did that narrative, how was that received around Mid Bedfordshire?
I think when it was first mooted that she would receive a peerage, people were absolutely shocked. And don't get me wrong, you look at Boris Johnson's honours list, and it's quite clearly been packed with people who have supported him in the past, and some of them, I'm sure the media and many people out in the public also agree, they have no reason being in the House of Lords, and they felt the same for Nadine. It was purely the fact that she was a sycophantic supporter of the ex-Prime Minister that she thought she might get a peerage and didn't actually deserve one. So when people heard that she's not getting one and she's wanting to fight and cause all this nonsense, throwing a strop because she didn't get it, I think it just adds to the fact that she's there for her own reasons and not for the electorate, for the constituency and the people that she's there to represent. They want someone who is there to do their business, not serve themselves.
So moving into a potential by-election, or even to the next general election, if it's going to be that long, if you're holding on or holding out that for that amount of time, how do you think the lay of the land is looking? I mean, do you think it will stay Conservative, the constituency, or do you think there are other parties now vying for it?
It's very unlikely, I think, that it'll stay Conservative. Of course, there are parties who want to take it, but the context of Mid Bedfordshire is very important. In the local elections, which have just happened, the independent group, my group on Central Bedfordshire Council, overturned a significant Conservative majority. one that's been held throughout the creation of Central Bedfordshire Council through into its predecessor, Mid Bedfordshire District Council. So we're talking over 40 years of true blue Central Bedfordshire. We overturned that. So you say the parties for a by-election. I'm here to say that the parties have let down the people of Central Bedfordshire, and it's an independent, myself, who I think is very well placed to actually take this constituency and give people the real unbiased representation that I think they're craving at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, according to the Financial Times, you're actually polling very well, which is quite extraordinary for an independent candidate. I mean, what is it exactly that you're offering that you don't think that the main two parties are?
I think it's pragmatism and service which is dedicated purely to the people. I have no political ideology, masters, chief whips to tell me how to vote and what to do. And I think the fact that I'm not after a government career is very important. My sole job would be to represent the people of Mid Bedfordshire in the very best way that I possibly could. I live here. I have a demonstrable track record of serving the people of Mid Bedfordshire, far more so than any other candidate in this election. And people have known that I work jolly hard for them, and I have the integrity that perhaps a political party lacks. And of course, when you go and stand in that polling booth, 9 times out of 10, you're voting for a political party, not the actual candidate. With me, I'm there, my name's on the ballot paper, and you're voting for me particularly. And I think I've built up a following and an understanding of what I'm really about. But I'm not a single issue politician. People have seen what I've done in Central Bedfordshire Council and in Flitwick for many years, so they know that I'm someone that they can trust and who's approachable.
There was a sense when we visited Flitwick that the constituents believed Nadine hadn't been acting or really doing anything that benefited the constituency. There was one conversation I had which was about a disabled access ramp at the station, which apparently she didn't actually have any involvement in. I mean, do you think there's going to be a hangover from that, from focusing on sort of a career in government rather than actually focusing on constituents?
I think that's quite right. And people are clearly tired of being a means to an end for party politicians. And I think, as you say, there will be that hangover, and I think that might drive a lot of people away from the parties and sort of pox to all their houses and ask someone who doesn't have that baggage to take over and look after them. I mean, as I say, I live in the constituency. I shop at the local supermarket. I drink in the local pub. My children have been to school here. I know people. I walk around, and it's strange. People, when they look at me, they don't say, "Oh, that's the party candidate," or "That's Councillor Mackey." I'm Gareth to everyone. I'm on first name terms with so many of my constituents, my residents. So I think it's really important they feel that I'm another human being that knows what they're going through and can actually understand what Mid Bedfordshire is about.